social interaction, I already uploaded interpersonal attraction, and there were some some YouTube videos on prejudice, discrimination, altruism. Uh, Actually, by itself, gwapo naman to siya nga mga videos, but I would like to delve into aggression and prejudice for the afternoon, because in these social interactions, in these social settings, makita nato ang mga conflicts. So, and it's really social the concerns about prejudice, discrimination, and stereotyping. It's really the area wherein social psychology is most useful in terms of dealing with social psychological concerns. Okay, so anyway, medyo one half pa gyud siya, 50% pa gyud siya ha. Kanon lang nato. Anyway, I'll just continue. Okay, so for social interaction, I the most visible the most visible definition that I found was that from the American Psychological Association. So APA defines social interaction as any process that involves reciprocal stimulation, so give and take na stimulation, or reciprocal response between two or more individuals. So this reciprocal stimulation, this can range from first encounters between parents and offspring to complex interactions with multiple individuals in adult life. So social interaction includes the development of cooperation and competition, the influence of status and social roles, and the dynamics of group behaviors, leadership, and conformity. Persistent social interaction between specific individuals may lead to the formation of social relationships. So, sa kadaghan niya nga words nga gisulti, no, it goes back really to the interaction, or the term reciprocal stimulation or reciprocal responses between two or more individuals. So makita nato how we act and interact, act and react and respond two or more people. Okay, wala pa gyud gyapon siya na load. Okay, so again, social interaction can be something as simple as from the basic family unit to something as complex as multiple individuals in our adult life. So at this point in your lives, I'm sure you already know how it is to be in social interaction with multiple individuals in an adult setting na nga. So diha na dayon possible ang mga conflicts and mga cooperations, mga conformity, etc., etc. So it is only through close observation of social interaction that social organization and social structure can be inferred. Again, it is only through close observation of social interaction that social organizations and social structures can be inferred. Matawag ra nato nga there is a certain sense of organization and certain sense of social structure if there is a close observation of interactions among individuals. Especially if this is kuan siya kining multiple individuals in adult life siya nga setting. Sige, brief rundown lang siya. When we talk of social interaction, usually ang atong ma-discuss, or at least the topics, the subtopics under social interaction are interpersonal attraction, pro-social behavior, aggression, and prejudices. Under interpersonal attraction, the primary question that we would want to know here is, why is it that we like others? So here we try to look into what is social interpersonal attraction rather. So technically, interpersonal attraction is defined as a person's desire to approach another individual. Dili na kaayo ni nato siya dili na ni nato siya i-discuss. I for the material that I uploaded, it's basically a rundown of interpersonal attraction. So although bullets ra to siya, pero there were citations, so hopefully kuan siya kaning medyo ma-monitor ra ninyo, and if you want you can refer to Strangor katong PDF nga akong gisend sa inyo. So we have interpersonal attraction, pro-social behavior. The primary question that we want to respond to is why we help others. So pro-social behavior is defined as voluntary behavior with the intent to help other people. I'll just check on the email ha kung yes. Okay, masend na ako, Giselle. It's sending message sent. So hopefully ma-open na siya. Okay, so see pro-social behavior. Under pro-social behavior, we have altruism and helping. There are several theories that can help explain why people would help in certain situations, and some materials would even discuss, like for instance katong kang Strangor nga book. He tried to distinguish or at least differentiate altruism and helping behavior. So this, as much as this is a very big part but of social psychology, and I know you were able to, this is the primary focus sa kadtong kang koan when we did sa Hungry Syrian Wanderer nga analysis ninyo. It's primarily focused for under sa pro-social behavior. So aggression and prejudices mas mo focus ta diha. Although si prejudice, si aggression in passing lang siya, pero prejudices mang good is already somewhat a part of aggression, and the other way around rather. So under aggression, we try to answer the question why we hurt others. Under aggression, aggression is defined by Barron and Richardson as behavior that is intended to harm another individual who does not wish to be harmed. So the general idea of aggression is that it's one-sided. Even if the other person is not wishing for any aggressive behavior, pero one side of the interaction is na ay certain sense of aggression. And then prejudices is defined as an unjustifiable negative attitude toward an outgroup or toward the members of that certain outgroup. So under prejudices, we can already see a certain dynamism in intergroup dynamism rather. So makita nato nga if there are two or more groups, prejudices may happen. Okay, so under aggression and prejudices, one of the things that's coming out, especially katong kang Kitty Genovese, Latan and Darley, they were able to come up with a study on the bystander effect, primarily because of that curiosity, or at least the issue that came up, the moral issue. Hi!
Yan na, ma'am.
Yes, Giselle.
Ako nang i-present, ma'am. Ako nang i-present.
Yay!
Okay.
Slide 6, please.
Okay, ma'am.
Start off. Ay, slide 5 na lang yun. Para sa definition. Yay! Yes. That's okay. Sige. So that's the thank you, Giselle. That's the slide wherein oops. Masyado wala. That's the slide wherein social interaction is defined, no? So as it is mentioned there, and as I have discussed earlier, social interaction again is a process that involves reciprocal stimulation or reciprocal response between two or more individuals. Um, so as we can see here, social interaction can be something as simple as the basic family unit of parent and offspring interaction to something as complex as multiple individuals in adult life. Then social interaction includes development of cooperation, competition, the influence of status and social roles, and the dynamics of group behavior, leadership, and conformity. So we can see that from this basic scenario of having two or more individuals having a reciprocal stimulation, there is already the possibility of developing cooperation or competition, and status and social roles rather can influence that interaction. And then the dynamics of group behavior, leadership, and conformity is highly seen in this scenario. So again, the dynamics of group behavior, leadership, and conformity. And persistent social interaction between specific individuals can lead to the formation of social relationships. So again, if a social interaction may persist, more than once lang ang interaction, there is the possibility of forming social relationships. And then it's also only through close observation of social interaction that organizations and social structures can be seen or can be inferred. Next slide, Giselle, please. Thank you. Okay, so muna siya ang usually ang basic divisions or topics rather sa main topics under social interaction, interpersonal attraction, social behavior, aggression, and prejudice. Okay, so under aggression and prejudice, diha na din nato siya makita nga as we go about in our interaction, there is always the possibility that conflicts may arise. And the conflicts may be due to the direct interaction or the lack of interaction, such as the case of Kitty Genovese. Kay wala may naminaw sa iyang, or at least walay mindful sa iyang cries of help. Possible to nga kay 'di ba it's a busy, it's a city, so anybody just pass around. So munang so many of those who heard her thought it was just some other people passing by. So which is why makita nato nga in social interactions, there is always the possibility that apathy can happen. So muna dayon ni siya ang next slide please. Slide 7. Thank you. So makita din nato diha ang nga can apathy lead to harm as much as aggression can lead to harm. Okay? See, aggression, there is the direct behavior. But on the other hand, apathy is the absence of the behavior. So, but is it as equally harmful? Here is I don't know if you can call it a poem, but Martin Niemöller, kaan siya, Muller, anyway, German siya, Jude ni siya, sorry. Kaan ni siya, kaning he survived the Holocaust. So, and he has studies on apathy also. So, he just wanted to point out how apathy may may return to a person, to an apathetic person. So it's always a possibility that an individual do not want to be involved in a conflict because it really does not directly affect him or her. So morning poem ni Martin, he said his poem goes, first they came for the socialist and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionist and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me and there was no one left to speak for me. So it's a reminder actually that there is the need for us to be, number one, not only be aware or know what's happening, but also kung pwede, there's that word sa Koan, there's that word sa Tagalog na it can either be pakialam, pakiamlamero, or nakikialam. So it's not just knowing, pakikialam, but it's more on pakikisalamuha, be involved. So when we talk of apathy, the involvement there is really a question. So, which is why, again, the question now is, can apathy lead to as much harm as aggression can? But before answering that one, next slide, please. Let's go to aggression first. I love you, Giselle. You're a savior. Good kaayo. Thank you, good kaayo. Okay, so aggression, again, as I've mentioned earlier, the primary question that we would want to answer under aggression is, why do we hurt others? That is, we define aggression as the behavior that is intended to harm another individual who does not wish to be harmed. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Thank you. So, there are different types of aggression actually, but the succeeding types of aggression that's enumerated here is primarily caused by different psychological processes. So, which is why muni ang atong i-take on nga different types of aggression. So, the first type of aggression is emotional or impulsive aggression, forethought, small amount of forethought or intent, and that is determined primarily by impulsive emotion. So, gamay ra nga huna-huna ang gihatag sa tao sa iyang aggressive behavior. And primarily, iyang nabuhat ni siya nga aggressive behavior because of impulsive emotion. So, we see that whether in the news or maybe even sa people who surround us, na they can do aggressive behavior or they manifest aggression because of the impulsiveness of emotions. So, na-trigger lang sila, mo react na dayon. Which is why it's considered nga ang emotional or impulsive aggression dili kaayo gahuna-hunaon ang actions, or at least ang outcome sa imong actions. Ang second type of aggression is instrumental or cognitive. So, instrumental or cognitive aggression is intentional and is planned and is primarily aimed at hurting someone to gain something, whether attention, monetary reward, or political power. So, let's say, for instance, si girlfriend, kay feeling niya, di na siya gapansinon ni boyfriend, ni boyfie, mo, kuan din siya nga, nakakita naman tingali kag kuan, blah, 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 wala kay panahon ako. So, there is a verbal aggression to the from the person in the hopes of gaining attention. For the most part, actually, regardless of the type of aggression, it's considered that a certain sense of instrumental or cognitive aggression is there. So, murag dili bitaw siya kaning it's not a classificatory descriptions ang kaning mga types of aggression, but rather it can be considered as a continuum. On the other hand, on the other end, it is emotional and impulsive, and it could, on the other end side, is it's instrumental or cognitive aggression, wherein it's intentional and it's planned. So muni akong buhaton kay gipasakitan ko niya, muni akong buhaton. So there is an element of being planned. Another type of aggression is physical aggression, which is wherein it involves harming others physically. So obvious kayo siya nga definition, no? Next please, next slide please. For us Filipinos, non-physical aggression abounds. By nature, we are passive-aggressive. It's not to say that's good because to a certain degree, that's really not good because it does not open communication. So, non-physical aggression is aggression that does not involve physical harm. But, makita niyo na to, verbal aggression, yelling, screaming, swearing, and name-calling. So, kan nga, okay ka lang, okay lang daw ko noon. Pero, grabe kayo ang murmur, pag name call. Ikaw na ang magaling. Mga ingana ang mga things. Another non-physical aggression is relational or social aggression. Intentionally harming another person's social relationships by gossiping about another person, excluding others from our friendships, or giving others the silent treatment. So, si verbal aggression naagya po form of expression. Si relational or si social aggression, medyo redirected siya. So, cold shoulders, dili mo tubag, kanang, kumusta ka? Murag, cricket lang. Or, magchismis na, kumusta ka? Tanaw lang niya, pero kabulog bitaw ka, kana bitaw siya, etc., etc. So, that's relational or social aggression. And non-verbal aggression. Non-verbal aggression occurs in the form of sexual, racial, or homophobic jokes and epithets which are designed to cause harm to individuals. And we are so known for this, unfortunately. We hide it in the guise of being people with humor. And sa testing gali ninyo, there were some of you who tested for humor, diba? And I don't know if naa sa inyo nga class ang nag-come up sa humor nga test last semester. Pero my response usually is, where does it come in ang cultural thing, especially for us Filipinos na we are so passive-aggressive. So, ang atong aggression is underlying, dili siya obvious. So, pero we hide it through our jokes. So, ingana mo na siya, okay, wala mo na siya, ayo, ha, joke lang. Or so many other things na actually, kung imong paminawon, medyo sakit gid siya. Makita nimo nga there is a certain sense of harm being done to the other person already. So, again, nonverbal aggression also occurs in form of sexual, racial, and homophobic jokes and epithets, which are designed to cause harm to individuals. There is this old adage that would say, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words cannot harm. So to hurt me. That's bullshit actually. Kay more than anything, it's words actually that can get to you rather than, there are so many people na who'd rather be hurt physically than be hurt emotionally because of the words other people would say. So, si nonverbal aggression is really still is very much aggression. Okay, it can really cause harm. And then next slide, please. So these are some list of non-physical aggression, gossiping, spreading rumors, criticizing behind their back, bullying, leaving others out of a group, or ostracizing them, turning people against each other, dismissing the opinions of others, stealing a boyfriend or girlfriend, threatening to break up with partner if partner does not comply, and flirting with another person to make a partner jealous. So again, when we talk of non-physical aggression, it may not be something that is seen directly through behaviors or actions, but it causes harm gihapon. Okay, any questions about aggression? So, there are some na ang inyong social issue, it has something to do about aggressive behavior, pero mo lang dayon ni siya nga when we talk of aggression, it's still a very broad na topic. So, might as well specify siguro kung which part ang atong gusto or inyong gusto makitaan. Questions? Wait, tanaw na to. For those of you who just came in, kindly write down present sa chat so that I would know na you're around. Oh yes, Ken. Di gyud siya char Ken, tinuod gyud siya Ken. Any questions? Concerns? Okay, so let's now go to prejudice. Next slide, please. So the ABC of prejudice. When we talk of prejudice, aggression is hurting others. Prejudices are manifestations of disliking others. Next slide, please. Okay, so when we say prejudice, discrimination, and stereotypes usually are not really they are not interchangeable, but a number of people would understand it as interchangeable, but they are not actually. As we can see here sa picture, si prejudice is very effective. Dili siya necessarily makita diretso because it's very internal. So, prejudice is an attitude. So, it's a negative attitude or negative evaluation towards a person because of his or her membership in a particular social group. So, kung mabalaan nimo nga, ay, member day na siya, joke ra niya, mulay akong top of mind lang siya, kaya mo man siya ikuan. Ay, army day na siya, di man ko ganahan sa BTS, mas ganahan man ko sa Blackpink, so, nanadyan kay kuan, prejudices towards them. Maybe at this point you would already notice that prejudice comes from the root word prejudging. Dili day siya root words day siya. So it's a coined word from two words, which is pre or before, and then judging before you would get to know whatever it is. Discrimination, on the other hand, dinhi na din na mo come in ang behavioral manifestation. So, there is already that unequal treatment of people because of his or her membership in a particular social group. So, prejudice ka towards a social group, so it's affect, na-feel, but it is not directly manifested. It is only manifested when there is that discriminative action or discrimination. So, again, this is a behavior wherein unequal treatment of people because of his or her membership in a particular social group is seen. Maski dili ka musturya, but usually if it's already ingrained in you, ang imong prejudice is already deeply rooted, there's a possibility that your discriminative actions may manifest in your actions. Stereotypes or stereotyping, on the other hand, is already the cognitive part. So, cognition. Stereotypes are beliefs that associate groups of people with certain traits. So, in terms of Filipinos, our being so regionalistic is seen through the stereotypes that we attach, no? Excuse me. So, ang Bulanon kay ija-ija aho-aho, ang Ilonggo kay mga tikalon, ansa pa diha. Ang mga taga-Gayan kay friendly ko, no? Char. Kay City of Golden Friendship man daw. Char. So again, as you can see here, the three prejudices, discrimination, and stereotypes, they usually interact or work interrelatedly because your behavior may not necessarily, your discriminative actions may not necessarily be isolating if there is no prejudice, underlying emotions of prejudice there. Next slide, please. So here we are connecting stereotypes, prejudices, and discrimination. So again, for stereotype, it's cognitive or thoughts about people. Then the connection is overgeneralized beliefs about people, which may lead to prejudices. Prejudice, on the other hand, is affective or feelings about people, both positive or negative. And these feelings may influence treatment of others that leads to discrimination. So the discrimination is action or behavior, which is again positive or negative treatment of others. So holding stereotypes and harboring prejudice may lead to excluding, avoiding, and biased treatment of group members. So there is an example there. Sorry ha, kuan kay siya. American kay siya nga example. Ano lang din ako kulihin na. So for instance, my stereotype of Yankee fans would be that they are arrogant and obnoxious. So kuan siya, kining cognitive kay siya, cerebral siyang not really aggression, but the stereotype is there. That's my stereotyping. Then ang akong emotion na dayon ana is already my prejudice. So I hate Yankee fans. They make me angry. Na siya element of emotion. And then si discrimination na dayon kay I would never hire nor become friends with a person if I know he or she were a Yankees fan. So as you can see here, stereotyping, prejudices, and discrimination abounds. We are not spared from it. All of us have these three. Ang crucial lang yun siguro sa iya is how do we go about keeping balance na even if you have certain stereotypes and there is already an underlying emotion na dili siya ma-discriminatory na dahil nga behavior, or all in all mas maayo gyud gali nga kung pwede, how do we change that thought, how do we deal with our affect, and how do we not do actions which can be discriminating. Okay, next slide, please. So these are some common prejudices, no? Most of the prejudice that arise, they come from stigmas or socially unappealing characteristics. So, which is why ang kanang children with, let's say, ADHD, they are bullied because they are seen differently. Nga dili masabtan sa mga tao, and they carry this kay lain man ilang actions as compared to the quote-unquote normal nga children. One common prejudice and the most common one is racism. So racism, prejudice and discrimination. This is prejudice and discrimination against an individual based solely on one's membership in a specific racial group. So when we say specific racial group, kay kung atong i-translate to something similar sa US, dili man gyud lugar kaning as obvious as black or white ta ang sa dinhi sa Pilipinas. However, we can see so many racist behaviors around. So when we say racism, it is the marginalization or oppression of people, like treating someone poorly because of their skin color, ethnicity, or where they come from. So, like for instance, my husband is from Claveria, so Bukid. But he studied high school, college, and graduate school sa Cagayan na dayon siya nag-study. Pero, especially when he was in high school, even sa college, his ethnicity is always really the butt of the joke. Like for instance, nga busa bako kay pero may man gasaka or yellow og tiil kay yellow ang yuta sa bukid, etc., etc. So this is an example of non-physical aggression, sad no? Racism can be a venue for non-physical aggression, like jokes. So, pa-joke siya, pero you can already see the discrimination there. A second common type of prejudice is sexism. So, sexism is prejudice and discrimination toward individuals based on their sex or gender. Studies through history, actually, that relates to psychology of gender have observed that almost all research on sexism focuses on women being discriminated against, mostly in part to women having historically suffered most as victims of sexism because of their lower power position relative to men in government, business, and employment. So, it's a slow progress, but at least karon nanay Vauci table sa police and sa legal system. So violence against women and children. Pero it's still a long way to go, actually. It's still a long way to go. Next slide, please. Then we have religious prejudice. Religious prejudice is prejudice towards people based on their religion. So this is negative attitudes or behavior between people or of different religious groups because of their differing religious beliefs. So we are a country, even if we would say primarily we are a Christian nation. However, the Christianity part, dili gyud ni siya. Although both gihapon ang Catholics, pero naasay daghan nga other belief system. So religious prejudice comes in kung based na ang prejudice sa religion. I don't know if the succeeding ng mga prejudices is these are not very common, pero it's really very important to know of these things. So we have ableism. So ableism is the discrimination and prejudice against people with disabilities based on the belief that typical abilities are superior. It is rooted in the belief that people with physical disabilities require fixing and defines people by their disability. Nanan ni si bungol o nanan ni si amata si amang si buta, so or si piang, kimpang, etc., etc. So if you would know of people having these disabilities, maybe when they reach adulthood, kabalo na sila mo ride on sa mga jokes sa ila. But in actuality, it's a struggle for them. It's a lifelong struggle for them. They have went through bullying because of these disabilities. So everyday or minor ableism would include framing disability as tragic. Kanigani ha, take note. It's not only through jokes, but if you would give focus so much on their disability as something tragic, or using accessible bathroom stalls when you are not supposed to, when you're able to use non-accessible stalls without risk of injury, talking to people with disabilities that like they were children. So, morawitag, oh, Dolby, as if they do not understand you properly, when in fact, kuan lang, maybe medyo hearing impaired lang sila or gamay. I have a student before na in the duration of her stay sa psych, medyo ka-worsen ang iyang hearing. Then initially it's so tempting to go in front of her, and kay mo lip read man siya. She can lip read. So it's so tempting to go to her, and you would really form your mouth so that she can read it properly. But later on, makarealize pod ka nga, makabilib kaayo siya kay makita nimo ang iyang paningkamot on the one hand. So you have to respect that. Because you can see nga di siya gusto og special attention. So and again, another form of ableism is not just making jokes or bullying those with disability. It could also be overemphasizing their disability. Hala ka, kaluoy nimo. Dinhi ka, kay luoy kay ka. So, kana siya, murag medyo, kana sa ila. It's really it can hurt them. So, it's not to say sad nga, so di na lang gid lugar sila hatagan og space ang kanang mga disabled sa jeep, let's say, dili pod. We have to realize that, unfortunately enough, our social structures are meant for normally abled nga beings. And then, next type of prejudices is sizeism. Have you heard of this? So, another group of highly vulnerable to prejudice are people who are either obese or too thin. So, even if siguro being thin may be an edge siguro, and obese people may have it worse than the thin ones, pero the thin ones would also get discriminatory nga mga actions. Like for instance, katikling nimo, di ka pwede diha kay tikling kay ka. But we have that, we call this sizeism. There's a group that, next slide please. Thank you. There's a group na ang ilang topic is on stigmatization sa mental health. And we can look it under here. So mentalism or saneism. Careful lang ta ha. Saneism. From the root word sane. Mentalism or saneism. So this is systematic. This is a systemic and systematic oppression who the world deems as insane, mad, or mentally ill. It affects people with mental differences, emotional distress, or who have been diagnosed with psychiatric disorder. So, ayaw ko diha. Ayaw ka depressed diha. Kuan ra man na siya. Ikatulog lang na, ikatawa na. So, toxic positivity ang mugawas dayon, no? So, when we are trying to stigmatize people, that's already a manifestation of mentalism or saneism. Then we have ageism. I don't know kung na-teacher na ninyo si Dr. Contreras, si Ma'am May, Luel May. Her master's thesis and her doctoral dissertation is directed towards ageism. So, ageism is the stereotyping, prejudice, and discrimination against people on the basis of their age. So, for the most part, ageism is associated for older people. So, but however, pati ang mga younger ones na agir gihapoy mahitabo gyapon ng ageism. So, for instance, for older people, ageism is an everyday challenge, being overlooked for employment and often stereotyped in the media. And ageism marginalizes older people, and this often leads to them being excluded in their community. So, dili na lang, ayaw na lang na siya iuban kay basig di na niya makaya mo baklay. Or, ay, ango-ango naman na siya, nakalimot naman na siya. Kuan na siguro, dementia na siguro na, etc. So, these are manifestations of ageism. Young people, on the other hand, manifestation of ageism against young people is when they are not taken seriously because of their age. I know of our graduate gihapon who works in City Hall na karon. Then, ang kuan pagid sa iya is, what's with her is, kuan pagid siya, kanang, she looks very young. So, gisamot na noon nga, kanang, dili siya dali matuhuan, even if she already has the experience and the know-how. Among the prejudices, this is the most socially normalized type of prejudices, ang ageism. Next slide, please. Then we have homophobia, or the excessive fear of homosexuals or homosexual behavior. Opposition to homosexuals and homosexual behavior is most prominent among people with conservative political and religious beliefs. But there are also cultural differences in tolerance towards homosexuality. Ang Philippines is somehow seen as a accepting daw kono. Pero actually, a number of studies would really indicate na it's really not total acceptance, but it's more on tolerance. Pero we tolerate, but if you would listen into what people are saying, especially against gays and the mga transgenders, which is the next prejudice. Pero makuani mo nga grabe gihapon ang prejudices. At present, the most likely explanation of anti-gay prejudice is the fear that homophobes themselves will become the target of romantic or sexual advances from homosexuals, or the fear that they might have a positive response to homosexual advances. We have a student before nga kung tanawon typical male gyud kaayo, then he really is into sports na kaning he's into wrestling, he's into so many sports, pero ang iyang sexual orientation is homosexual siya. So he likes males. So anyway, when he came out to his best friend, or at least someone close to him sa kadtong sa ilang wrestling nga group, he was ostracized. Then ang mga talks na iyang nadungog na dayon kay grabe kaayo ang ilang mga curses nga punyeta kan basig nagkuan lang to siya, nag-join lang to siya sa ato para makatouch sa ato. So it really hurt him so much because he loved the sports as it is. And he supposedly enjoyed the company of his friends, but unfortunately enough, his so-called friends are very fearful. But I would like to share with you, I just saw this, bago lang gid kay ni nako siya nakita nga koan. Okay, there was a study by, apparently dugay-dugay na din siya nga experiment. This is an experiment by Adams, Wright and Lohr sa 1996. So the experiment was kung anong passionate kay sa hatred ang mga homophobes, those with homophobic tendencies. So in their experiment, they asked volunteers from college students, and then they were assessed how homophobic they are. So the researchers first assessed how homophobic these male students are, and then eventually they were nakita dayon nga okay, ma-split siya into two groups, which is homophobic men and non-homophobic men. Then curiously enough, they were presented with sexually explicit na mga videos. So there were three types of sexually explicit videos. These are heterosexual nga couple, then female to female nga couple, and then male and male nga couple. And then while the participants of the experiment were watching these videos, they were asked to rate how arousing the videos were. And then it was later realized that homophobes actually, sila to ang pinakataas nga ilang arousal level sa male to male nga sexually explicit na mga videos. So we can see that there is always the possibility that perhaps they may want to cover up that their homosexual tendencies. They want to cover it up with homophobic tendencies. So anyway, I just found it very interesting. Kaya it was my first time to read about that research. Okay, so again, these are all assumptions, or at least these are some outcomes of these studies. The next type of common prejudice that we would see would be transgender discrimination. So obviously, this is discrimination against transgender people. Societal prejudice against transgender people is pervasive. Among the LGBTQI++ community, the trans women are the most discriminated against, actually. So the rates of harassment, discrimination, and violence against transgender people are high, and most countries offer limited protection to transgender individuals who experience prejudice or violence. Ang isa sa things na gakahitabo sa mga trans women sa Philippines is galukuhon sila. They are being used to siguro to be monetized by their partners, unfortunately. Okay, any questions so far about prejudices? Questions? Okay, so if there are, ikon lang siya ha, kining, if you want, you can just write sa chat ang inyong mga questions. Okay, so let's try to see now ang kining, kung asa gagikan, or at least which part of society feeds prejudices. Next slide, please. So these are the social sources of prejudice. We have social inequalities or unequal status and prejudice, socialization, and institutional supports. Next slide, please. The first social source of prejudice is social inequalities, or the unequal status and prejudice, wherein we can see unequal status that can breed to prejudices and social dominance orientation. So when we talk of unequal status breeding prejudice, this is when once there is inequality, prejudice helps justify the economic and social superiority of those who have wealth and power. And we have seen this a lot, no, nga kaning mga pobre wa gyud ni sila ayo. Or dili baka mga tapulan. Through the years, I have seen students coming into the course having these prejudices. And thankfully, after having been through InPsych, after 4 years, a number of them somehow were able to understand. we hear this all the time kanang mga those who have businesses nga ni succeed moingon sila nga kuan ra gyud siya hard work ra gyud to ilang gibuhat, but actually we have to remember that you cannot come up with your own business if you do not have capital. And where do these economic capitals come from? Mostly from our parents or from the people that our network. So if wala gyud kay network, imong parents wag gyud finances nga makatabang sa business nimo, the chances are no, you will not. So I don't know if you've noticed sa kanang illustration, there are some people who are lucky enough na they can take on the escalator going up. But for a number, mura siya mountain climbing, wall climbing ang ilang gabuhaton. So kaning nasa kilid. And we can see that these are manifestations of social inequalities. Okay, going back sa unequal status breeds prejudice. Again, once there is inequality, prejudice helps justify the economic and social superiority of those who have wealth and power. So, an example would be the uninvestigated lumad killing. So, for kailan man siguro tatanan no kinsa ning mga lumads, di ba? So these are the indigenous people of Mindanao. For decades, they were forced to physically defend their right to control their ancestral territories against corporate plunder and militarization. So there are narratives na they can become violent, or a number of them are already members of the communists. But if we have to look into this scenario, actually, we do not see the outer part only. We have to try to look into what led them to becoming violent, what led them to side with the communists, etc., etc. So again, when we talk of social inequality as a source of prejudice, muna siya, unequal status can breed prejudice. And unfortunately enough, mas prejudice ang kadtong mas naay power. And then we have social dominance orientation. Next slide please. Sorry, nakalimot ko. Thank you. Social dominance orientation is a motivation to have one's group dominate other social groups. They desire to increase and maintain the differences between the social status of different groups. So they want to keep the rich richer and the poor poorer. Si kinsa ba na siya? Excuse me, di na siya pwede diri sa uban sa amo. So those high in social dominance orientation tend to view people in terms of hierarchies and often support policies that maintain hierarchies. So status breeds prejudice, especially for people high in social dominance orientation. Another part of social psychology, especially in political psychology, is the interplay with power. Ang kuan ning sa power manggod is isa ni siya si social dominance orientation. This usually feeds power nga if the person already has the power, mas naay tendency or there is always the possibility nga mo-take on na niya nga frame of mind nga kung pwede i-retain na niya ang iyang power. So ang katong uban dayon kung pwede ma-keep nila ang distance away from the quote and quote the lower ones. Okay. Next slide please. A second social source of prejudice is our socialization. When we talk of socialization, prejudice springs from unequal status and from other social sources, which includes our acquired values and attitudes. our families play a part in the cultivation of prejudices. And this is seen time and again in the implicit or automatic racial attitudes of children as reflected on their explicit or conscious prejudice. Uh, no, I don't like to play with you. Kay bulingit ka, or I don't want to play with you. Kay squatter mo. So, our families and cultures pass on all kinds of information from what to look for in a potential spouse, who to trust, and who to dislike, and even political affiliation. So when we talk of socialization, this is practically the interactions that we create as we grow up. And then these socializations, the prejudices that's developed in a person through socialization, usually this can be transferred from one generation to another. So dili na kaayo na ako ihimay ni ang discussion on authoritarian personality, ethnocentricity, religion, and prejudice. Pero ang general idea lang niya is those with authoritarian personality, in terms of their socialization, mas gaka-feed ni sila o prejudices. So kana bitang throwing their weight around nga kuan kining abrasive kayo ilang mga personalities to the extent na kuan na kayo kining prejudicial na kayo sila. But unfortunately enough, because in their socialization, people would not want to have trouble with them munang i-give in sa ila kung unsay ilang ga-demand. Ethnocentricity on the other hand is let's say for instance, white is proper, black is not. So kung kulot kag buhok, flat kag ilong, then itom ka, most probably joke lang ka. Maayo lang ka para joke. Pero kung matangos imong ilong, puti, taas ka, most probably paminawon gyud ka. So that's ethnocentricity. Religion and prejudice also, again, kung unsa nga religion ang superior in a small community, there's a chance na muto ang dunggon. And then conformity. Conformity helps maintain prejudices. Okay? There's always the tendency that we just want to follow. We do not want to rock the boat. And because we do not want to rock the boat, we tend to conform. Mo follow na lang ta. And unfortunately enough, when we simply follow, we only follow, it actually maintains prejudices. So prejudice springs again. So again, our socialization can feed our, can be a source of our prejudices. Later, not today, pero as you go about, I will be posting later on before we discuss it. It's a theory also. The habitus model of social classes. So makita nato how socialization can affect our internal mechanisms. Next slide, please. A third source of prejudice is institutional supports. So social institutions also can support prejudices, sometimes through overt policies and unintentional inertia. Institutional supports for prejudice are often unintended and unnoticed, having policies which feeds prejudice and discrimination. So, like for instance, in an institution, kung si kinsa tong hilom lang sa klase, kining proper kaayo, muto siya ang tendency nga i-feed to siya nga image nga siya ra ang insakto nga estudyante. And unfortunately enough, for some teachers, ma-obvious din kay nga favoritism kay si ma'am. Kay kung kato yung medyo slow kay makita dayon nimo nga medyo gakumot ang dagway ni ma'am. So makita nimo ang discriminatory behavior sa classroom na setting. So that's an example anyway of institutional supports, which can be a source for prejudice. Ads, commercials, films, TV programs, among other things, also embody and reinforce prevailing cultural attitudes. Like for instance, commercials on TV. Like for instance, whitening lotions. For some weird reasons, whitening lotions have models who are mestiza. So, anong kinahanglan pa sila mag-whitening? But somehow it feeds us the idea that white is beautiful. That somehow being morena or being a pure Filipino Sims isn't good enough. So, that feeds or that can be a source of prejudice. Next slide, please. Thank you. So, kato siya kaganiha, those were sources, social sources of prejudices. Kanina dayon siya, these are the motivational sources of prejudices. So, unsay, kung kato siya, kung asa gagikan ang prejudices, kani siya, kung unsay maka-further on sa iya, makagatong sa prejudices. So, we have frustration and aggression, social identity theory, and motivation to avoid prejudice. So, under frustration and aggression, which is the scapegoat theory, thank you, sorry, wako na kaingon. Under the first one, we have displaced aggression and realistic group conflict. So, for displaced aggression or scapegoating, when a person is blocked from reaching a certain goal, the pain and frustration can feed into the person's hostility and often redirected to, or we vent this out, our anger directed towards a group which are prejudiced towards. So, mura bitaw siya convenient excuse siya. Tungod mong gud nimo, ngano naman ko na siya. Kani sila, naman ko sila diha, busa ko na wa ko na succeed. So, this is also a manifestation of that adage na hurt people hurt people. Hurt people will hurt people. Those with hurts inside tend to hurt others as well. So again, when we are blocked from reaching a certain goal, our frustrations would feed our hostilities. And our hostilities are vented out towards people whom we can find a convenient excuse. So, isa sa dayon ni siya sa naka-feed sa nganong gamay ra kaayo ang ga-react sa killings of drug addicts sa EJK. Kay it's not to say that drug addiction is not good. It's good. Kay it's a social problem. But on the other hand, in terms of how things are being responded to in terms of the drug problem, grabe kaayo ang kanisya, present ni siya nga. Dato nagihansak tanan. So, kung drug addict, sala na niya tanan. So, muna siyang isa sa possible nga explanation for that. And then we have the realistic group conflict. Wala pa. Second, thank you. The realistic group conflict theory surmises that prejudice arises from competition between groups for scarce resources. Competition is an important source of frustration that can fuel prejudice. When two groups compete for jobs, housing, or social prestige, one group's goal fulfillment can become the other group's frustration. So when people would see that there is scarcity of something, it can come up, it can motivate for prejudice to come out. So it can fuel competition and it can fuel prejudices. So again, even if healthy competition is good, however, when there is already that frame that there is scarcity, there is insecurity, then chances are one group who did not get that, whatever it is that they are competing of, the other group may become frustrated. OFW, especially Filipino nurses, there's a study actually, kato akong nabasa is sa US to siya. Pero Filipino nurses are being discriminated against primarily because they are labeled as people who took over their jobs. Gikawat ang ilang jobs. Jobs unta nga para ihatag sa ila. So, this is not to say, however, pero anyway, I'll just leave it to you. Is realistic group conflict the explanation for why Filipinos are reacting similarly to Chinese? Or is it a whole different context? So I'll leave that up to you to think through at this point. Next, please. The second motivation for prejudice that will fuel prejudice would be social identity. So when we talk of social identity theory, this is the feeling of superiority to others. So, if you can remember, social identity, this is a very big part of who I am. So, ang akong self-concept. So, dapat, because this is a part of my social identity is a very big part of my self-concept, there is a possibility that I need to raise how I see myself. So I need to see nga i-raise na ko ang unsa akong pagtan-aw sa akong identity in a society. So which also feeds into my in-group members. So kinsa tong one of me, one of us. So let's say for instance, the best gid kaayo ang kaan. The best gid kaayo ang taga Xavier, char. Then out-group members then kay dili man sila taga Xavier, so others kay sila. So the in-group members and the out-group members being discriminated, ang mga out-group members, that already feeds my own social identity. So, motivations. Okay, sorry. So again, a part of our self-concept is the part of our social identity, the we aspect of my own self-concept. And because it tries to answer who I am, kinahanglan gid kaayo ni siya ang akong social identity. Seifel and Turner proposed with social identity theory, and they observed that not only do we have a tendency to categorize people into groups, but we associate ourselves with certain groups and compare and contrast our groups with others. So, automatic ba kayo ni sa ato to categorize nga ay not one of us, kani one of us. Then pagkahuman pangitaan yun na kung what makes our group a little better. So which is already into the next kani si in-group. Si in-group o si out-group. So again, the in-group is the us versus the out-group which is the them. So the in-group members are people who belong to the same group or category as we do, and it is all the people that are a person likes and identifies with. So kung grabe kaayo ang atong pag-heighten sa positivity sa in-group o grabe pod kaayo pag downplay sa positive sa out-group. I hope you can see proper. Anyway, i-upload ko raman ni siya nga kuan kani nga slides. Pero as you can see there, si out-group. Thank you, Giselle. Cute lang kayo ni siya, no? Okay. Practically, their society is so similar, but we can see how they would try to emphasize the differences kunuhay. So, the out-group members are everyone else. So, it's people who belong to a different group or category other than the us. The formation of in-groups and out-groups, begins as early as childhood and continues as children become adults. So di ko nimo hoy kay taga diha man ka common kaayo ni sa amo dinhi sa among neighborhood dinhi man bidapit sa Burgos nga ang kaning mga children sa different barangays mo din na sila kung magdula din na sila maggira-gira sila versus the other street. Cute lang kaayo. Okay, so that's a very obvious it's a very obvious manifestation of this in-group out-group. And then for the terror management theory, it focuses on how fears would influence our thinking and behavior. So, because according to terror management theory, people need to insulate themselves from their deep fear of living an insignificant life destined to be erased by death. So, one way to address that, this fear is to assure themselves that they are a part of an important and superior group. So this desire to reinforce cultural significance in the face of death often results in displays of prejudice based on the belief that the group with which one identifies is superior to others. So in a way, it confirms their own self-importance, at least to themselves. So at least maski sa ilang utok lang, feeling nila, significant na ang ilang life kay they are member of a significant na group. And unfortunately enough, this can cause, or at least it motivates further prejudices. Next slide, please. See, yeah, thank you. See, motivation. So, kung ano man yun siya, no? We have discussed about where prejudices come from, how is it reinforced. So ang next question gid dayon ana is how do we avoid or at least reduce it. So this is now the part wherein we try to look into motivation to avoid prejudice. So kay motivation to avoid prejudice can lead people to modify their own thoughts and actions. Can we have a 2-minute CR break? Thank you. Okay, thank you. Any questions before continuing? None? Okay, so again, as I mentioned earlier, we cannot just discuss conflicts and prejudices without trying to understand how we can go about these things. Pero kanin lang dayon siya, we start off this is the first part actually, but I will not be discussing anymore the reframing part. Kanin lang sa siya si motivation lang sa atong ikuan din. I'll be uploading the reframing na lang dayon. Okay, so the motivation to avoid prejudice. Thank you. Advance kay Kagan. Thank you. So, we know that motives will help us to avoid prejudice by leading us to modify our thoughts and actions towards prejudice and discrimination. Maybe at this point, because you are already in your third year in psychology, somehow na-build na sa inyo nga before having a knee-jerk reaction over something to at least process already your reactions, your feelings, your thoughts. So there is already that effort to understand. So try as we might, however, we cannot help but have unwanted judgmental thoughts about others, and we would even feel guilty when we have these thoughts. Thus, we try to inhibit this prejudicial response, thereby breaking the prejudice habit. So, automatic mong good yun kaayo na si ang mga thoughts, no? So, we have to forgive ourselves whenever unwanted judgmental thoughts would come into play in our about others in our heads. It's not unusual that we would feel guilty, but what's important is we are already aware that we are having these thoughts, okay? And because once we are aware that we are having these thoughts, this is already the first process of breaking the prejudice habit. And then maybe perhaps I don't know how many days na mo sa inyong sa inyong Boller Challenge, but if we try to remember, trying to break the complaining habit is even hard enough naman gani. So unsa na lang kahaning si prejudicial na mga thoughts or responses. However, even if lisod pero mabuhat, it can be done. So if you find yourself reacting with knee-jerk presumptions or feelings, again, forgive yourself, don't despair, because it's not unusual. Normal na siya. Then again, just because it's normal or just because it's not unusual does not mean nga pasagdan na lang nato. So it's what you do with that awareness that matters. So now that you're aware of it, unsay imong buhaton? There are instances wherein lamig gid kayo mag-go with the flow sa imong emotion, lamig gid kayo mangaway, etc., etc. But anyway, because you have caught yourself having these thoughts, mulang dahil na siya, unsa imong buhaton. So it's what you do with that awareness that matters. So do you let those feelings hijack your behavior? Magpadala na lang yun ka sa imong emotions? Or do you compensate by monitoring and correcting your behavior in future situations? So again, that was what I was saying na try to be a little more forgiving if you have these thoughts. Pero on the other hand, you have to be self-monitoring also. Okay? Manifest man god yun ni siya sa atong behavior, and hopefully po in the manifestation of our behavior nga mindful ta sa atong prejudices, hopefully makita po sa lain nga mga tao nga you have that effort also. Okay, so in terms of prejudices, mo to siya no nga we started off with what it is, the common types, where it is coming from or the sources that's coming from, what feeds it, unsay nakapadugang sa iya, unsay nakamotivate sa iya, and then of course the motivation to avoid. Mulang na siya diha makita nato nga how do we start to stop prejudices, discrimination, and stereotyping. It's just having stereotypes, having prejudicial thoughts. It's not automatically bad. Pero if it manifests externally na dayon, if it affects or influences negatively your thoughts, your other thoughts about other things, then it's not good. So there is the need to at least to avoid or motivated to avoid these thoughts already.